I'm Lisa Whitson. This is my husband Brent and our pup Nash. And we're excited to be able to talk to you guys today about our new home.
I am the high school athletic director and head football coach here in Denison. My wife is a retired former teacher all across Texas and Oklahoma, where we've lived before. We have two sons who we're very proud of, who have families of their own, live in Fort Worth and Oklahoma City. Love to have them come and visit us in our home. We are close to both being retired, so this will be kind of that last stop for us. And that's why in designing it, we talked about that a lot with Tom and Scott. I had moved here from our home in Grand Prairie to take my new job, and a lot of the first few months were spent learning my job, my new place, and learning this part of the world. And so I was driving, just literally driving, looking at lots and possible houses. There was not very much inventory in Grayson County, and did not know CC Bates, but I found this place, and the developer, Steve Salem, offered us a lot and offered us a kind of a bonus if we went with CC Bates as our builder, and met Scott, spent a lot of time with him, finally met Tom. Tom was out on site, so we didn't get to do anything. And then I brought Lisa by and to get her blessing before we said yes.
Scott was great. At first we just met in his office and we just talked through what we were wanting to do and what it would look like for the future for us. It was just going to be the two of us. Our boys are grown and gone. And so Scott was great about knowing we wanted a big open space, but we didn't need a lot of extra bedroom space. And he had a spot for us to go look at. Where was it? At Tanglewood?
In Tanglewood, yeah, just a retired couple there. We went and walked through their house. They were great about it also. And so we saw a living example of what we wanted as the bones of our house. Scott expanded on the things that, especially that Lisa wanted, and we went from there.
And he was great about that. I had some specific things to change, and he was good about that.
I had come to Denison about 3 months before Lisa moved up, a new job, and spent a lot of time trying to learn about Grayson County and the lake area, and trying to find a home. We had sold our home in Grand Prairie and thought we'd done really well on it, and thought we had plenty of money to do things with. There was no inventory here. And on a prompt from a friend at Rotary, I came out and looked in this part of Denison area and found this place, in particular this lot, with the trees and the way it ran down to the creek and the old golf course across the way. Met Steve Salem, who was our developer. Steve immediately talked to me about CC Bates and offered us an incentive to buy the lot if we built with CC Bates. And really from that point on, it was just the start of a really good relationship.
The design process was great. So many examples to look at. Heather came on board and she was just like a right-hand girl to be able to guide me through lots of stuff.
Yeah, I didn't get involved in that very much. I had very specific things I wanted. I basically said, get Lisa what she wants. As long as I get a humidor in my closet and a putting green outside, I was good. And they accommodated all of those needs.
We had some basic ideas about some things, but then Scott would come by in the building process and he just had a vision for some things. We've got some great windows that were not like anything we had seen before. He came up with it and we said, absolutely.
Yeah, and we also, I did some very guy things. I wanted a huge garage. I mean, our garage is disproportionate. Scott accommodated that. And then this back porch is our absolute favorite thing in the entire house, and probably spend way too much time out there, but it's important to the way we live.
Choose to build right after COVID, but that is when we were building, and it did make a difference on things happening. But we were always up to date on why something was taking too long to get here. Steve and Scott both did a good job keeping us in the loop on when to expect something the second time, because it just wasn't coming, no fault of theirs.
Yeah, the supply chain was completely screwed up, whether you were talking about making hamburgers or building houses. And so we just had to understand that we were building a house in the most difficult time period for contractors there ever has been. That gets passed on to the homeowners. That's just part of the deal. So, I think it would have been harder if we had been with less people-friendly builder than Scott and Tom were. And so they made it nice. Steve Nelson was a great on-site guy for us. That's really became our go-to. If we had a question about something or a problem with something, or it wasn't like we thought, you have a vision if you've never done this before. We've never built before, and don't plan on ever doing it again. And this is it. If it wasn't like I saw it or the way she saw it, we just dialed Steve, and he would explain to us, or he would make it like we saw it.
He was a very special friend during all this time, for sure, to me.
Yeah.
He would answer my call no matter what, and he was great. So we love this area where we live. It's perfect for us. The lots are large here. It gives us the space. Brent and I like to have some privacy. Like he mentioned, our big back porch, we're there all the time, and we love to be able to be outside and have that space. That area does this for us. The golf course that's behind us, no longer in existence, it just gives us even more feeling of that space. So for us, this is perfect.
A weekend day where we decide we're going to have a cigar and something to drink and turn the music up too loud doesn't bother anybody else, and that's the way this house is built. The lines make that work. The acoustics make it work. It channels our sound toward the vacant golf course. We take advantage of that. The lake area is a big deal to a whole lot of people. We're not lake people yet, but
But we are pool people.
Yeah, that's
and
exactly right.
So we enjoy
yeah.
that instead of the lake.
That's our water.
A perfect day in this house can start lots of different ways, but always the cup of coffee. We can sit out on the swing on the front porch. We can sit out and look over the green in the pool on the back porch, or if it's cold, we just start a fire in here. But we start off with a cup of coffee, a quiet time, and every day starts good when it starts like that.
Yeah, Lisa's days can start a little slower than mine do. I'm still working, and so I'm getting around. But the way the house is built, we're really never out of distance from each other. If you have a question, you just ask it where you are, as opposed to having to walk and transfer to get that question answered. And then weekends are just wonderful, just because again we get the rising sun, we get the setting sun. We enjoy both of those two things. Middays, from a standpoint of heat in the summertime, that sun is out of our minds and cooling way early, 11:30 or so. The rest of the day, we're in the shade back here if we want to be, and if we want sunshine, we go to the pool. Very easy house to live in.
So we are starting our fourth year here.
August of 2022.
We've enjoyed 3 summers, got in really late in the summer, but we have just enjoyed our 3 summers. Love our neighborhood. There are several houses that Scott and Tom built here on our street, and we like to talk with those neighbors and take notes and compare notes. We plan to stay here. I think this is our last stop. We're planning to stay here forever.